It's now my pleasure to invite to the podium to make his address the Prime Minister of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka, the Honorable Ranil Wickremesinghe.
Honorable the Minister, the State Minister, the Executive Secretary, ITC, Secretaries, Honorable the Vice Minister, Ambassadors, delegates, and friends. This forum is being held at an opportune time for Sri Lanka. When we have decided to refocus our attention on exports, growth, and expansion of employment. For about 8-9 years, we lost our focus on exports. We had the GSP Plus to enter Europe, so did Bangladesh. We gave it up, while Bangladesh kept on and has virtually increased its export earnings on garments alone by about 5 times. We focus instead on foreign remittances, but that is limited. When people want good jobs, they want to enter the middle class, they want a higher income. That growth can come only through exports, not through remittances. Remittances will send you a limited amount for a large number of people. So we miss those opportunities of growth. We miss the revenue. We depended on foreign debts, commercial debts, and commercial borrowings. The end result was the people in this country didn't have satisfactory jobs. They certainly had jobs, but they felt they were underemployed. And the desire of the people were to enter the middle class. That desire was not met. This is why the government of Sri Lanka, headed by President Maithripala Sirisena, has first focused on the political targets of million jobs and an expanding middle class. That is our political targets. To achieve this task in a short time, we formed a national government. Both our parties got together. For us, this was a war, not one that killed people, which we had put behind, but how do we get investments and how do we go out, capture the export markets, so to give a future for our young people. With this in mind, we have first focused on making Sri Lanka the hub of the Indian Ocean for business, for logistics, for finance. To make ourselves the hub of the Indian Ocean and to go for the development of our 3 major ports, Colombo, Hambantota, Trincomalee, and 2 large airports in Katunayaka and in Mattala. Make the facilities available for logistics and communications. Make it attractive for business and finance. Then make Sri Lanka the platform for competitive value addition and to join the global value chain. This is in short our strategy. We spent 1 year working out the details. Most of will be announced this month or next month with the budget. One area of concern was the drop we had in the ease of doing business, but that too is being addressed. So this is basically the strategy. And to back up Sri Lanka's hub of the Indian Ocean, our infrastructure is focused on one large corridor, Kandy, which will be expanded into Wayamba Northwestern, which will take the spillover of industries from the western megapolis, as well as an area for export agriculture, fisheries, and tourism. Then the western megapolis itself, which should be a mega city of 8.5 million people. And within it, a financial city, an offshore financial center between Singapore and Dubai. These are ambitious goals. This is why, being ambitious, we have a national government. Then we have the southern development, focused on tourism, which is one of our main drives, and along the low-hanging fruits, and on to Hambantota, where the industrialization of Hambantota is now planned, and there are developments going on a public-private partnership for the Hambantota airport and the Hambantota port. That's a very large expansion. We are working on this with the One Belt, One Road project of China. The second corridor that we are developing is around Trincomalee. Build Trincomalee as an economic hub, as a harbor, servicing the Bay of Bengal. Look at industries and the vast potential for tourism. This is in brief the infrastructure for our employment creation. Then we have to find the markets. So on Saturday I'm leaving Sri Lanka to go to Brussels to renegotiate the GSP+. But unlike 2002, when growth depended only on Europe, the shift is coming to Asia. So we look at three important agreements. With India, the Economic and Technology Cooperation Agreement. This will enable us to have closer cooperation with India, especially with the 5 southern states, which together with Sri Lanka is the fastest growing area of the subcontinent, and at the moment has a combined GDP of $500 billion. So there's a lot of scope with Sri Lanka and India working together. We are working and negotiating another FTA with Singapore, triangular arrangement that we will have between our 3 countries. Later on, we will also negotiate free trade agreements with the other Bay of Bengal countries. So Bay of Bengal will be a fast-growing area with fast-growing incomes in the coming 20 to 30 years. Under the One Belt, One Road initiative, we are also now talking to China on a free trade agreement, and finally a comprehensive economic partnership dialogue with Japan. It's in this way that we are looking at the Asian markets, the European markets. As to how USA will develop, we will know only after November, when the new regime comes in. But we have made the plans as to where new markets are going to be. Then the incentives, which will be announced soon for foreign direct investments or local investments. We want to accelerate the process. And one area that we are going to focus and to give incentives is for the domestic manufacturing industry to become competitive and go out to the world. We have a fairly good manufacturing industry catering to the domestic market, but that alone is enough. That will not create any more employment. We have to go out. So as we become competitive, while we are encouraging foreign direct investments of those who come into this country, we have the potential that our industry, the local industry, potential to expand and go into the nearby markets which they know well. There is no one in the domestic industry who doesn't know the regional market or the US market or the UK or the European market. So we are planning to give sufficient incentives that they could get new machinery, They could raise the capital, train their people, so in the next few years, they can expand and compete. There is tourism, which is ready to take off, and the digital economy. All this has to be underpinned by training for human resources. These are the programs which will finally create employment. And what is the employment we want? If you look at a person, I think a minimum of $300 a month would be their ambition. You have jobs below that. People are coming, and they are seeking employment there, but move out quickly. There are many jobs below $300 which are not even filled. So the reality is that we have to find jobs that investments will bring at $300 a month. So we have been focusing on this aspect too, to ensure that we have a larger consumer market in Sri Lanka, which also means helping out our small and medium enterprises to take up part of the employment. It may not be possible in the large enterprises. So this is the task, this is the plan. And finally, why are we doing this? We want a better life for our people. We want better incomes for their people. They should have a secure future. So the way for jobs for young people, way for expanding the middle class, the way for a secure future is to go through the export market, open up our services, or get into our manufacturing. So that is the war that we have to fight. The war we are fighting to get in. At a time, as the executive director said, the global outlook is not favorable. Still, we are a small country. And we are a country which will say every $1 billion counts. So if you look at every $1 billion, then it's easy for us to get into the markets because we are small. Our small size sometimes can be an advantage, but it requires specialization. It requires how we go ahead. It requires initiative. It is to achieve this objective that President Sirisena, myself, and the government are committed to. And the first phase was in developing the policies, and the agreement with the budget will come, the implementation, and pushing everyone to perform in the coming years. So we would like to have your views, your assistance. Since you all are gathered here today, I would request you in the next 2 days to give us your opinion on how we can further implement and make a success of our new export strategy. Thank you.